I want more people to understand that we all have something to hide, and that's nothing to be ashamed of. Here's the context for this, okay? I used to work for Canada's Foreign Signals Intelligence Agency, and while I was there, obviously, digital privacy was a really big issue, and I worked on it and I got interested in it, and I've been paying attention to it ever since. And if I had a dollar for every time somebody's told me in the last 20 years, well, I've got nothing to hide, I'd have a really good side income. But you know what? It's total bullshit. We all have something to hide. And there's nothing wrong with that. This idea that we should be ashamed because, there are things we want to stay hidden. Like, it amazes me how we've just kind of pitched our total idea of privacy and just like, wow, I guess it doesn't matter anymore. I've got nothing to hide. So for those of you who think that you don't have anything to hide, you do. Okay, like 100% you do. Like, here's like the basic, most obvious example: your banking information. Would you post your account information, your transit numbers, your bank balances, your passwords, like everything? All your identifiers, like your date of birth, your social security number? Would you put all of that online available for everybody to see so they could go take money out of your bank account? Of course you wouldn't. That's your livelihood, your retirement, your future, your now, your everything. You're not going to give that up. You want to hide that. You want to keep that private. You only want to share that with your bank so you can have access to your own information. That's what I'm talking about. This idea that we have nothing to hide, like, we do have stuff to hide, and that's okay. Another reason, another way I don't think a lot of people think about it is it's context specific. Okay, so right now I live in Ottawa. It's 2025. I'm pretty free in terms of what I can say. 100%. I can almost say whatever I want here. There's some restrictions, but like, I got a lot of freedom. Okay. But maybe that's not how Ottawa is going to be in 2035, right? So some of the things that I say now, do I want a permanent record of those things to be stored in some cloud database forever, in perpetuity, so that in 10 years, when my government goes crazy, they can start making decisions about my life, my livelihood, my right to even exist based on stuff that I, posted 10 years ago? No, of course not. And that's the thing. You may feel you have nothing to hide now because you live in like a particularly free society, but when the minute that society stops becoming as free as it is, you very quickly realize that actually there's quite a lot that you would want to keep hidden. And so we can't always assume that the way things are now is the way that they're always going to be for us. And I think this notion, like, that the idea that we can just kind of toss this privacy, this expectation of privacy at the window in order to interact with technologies, it's a lie that's been sold to us by, honestly, massive corporations. Of course, like search engines, like, we have to keep the search engine data for forever. No, you don't. You don't have to keep anything forever at all. You can delete stuff at will. So this idea that we have to give up our privacy in order to now live in the internet age, I actually want to call bullshit on it. And it's okay to have stuff to hide. Like, I think that a lot of this comes from the idea of, okay, bad people, they have stuff to hide, right? So if I'm a good person, I shouldn't have anything to hide because it's only bad people who want to hide their bad things. But actually, that's not true at all. We as humans, we have like this self that we don't necessarily want all of it available. I mean, how many times does your brain filter thankfully stop with the thought in your head from coming out of your mouth every day? Mine does that a lot. And I can't imagine, like, to me, it's a dystopian nightmare where even my thoughts aren't private. Like, I want my thoughts to be private. I have an expectation of privacy on my thoughts. There's nothing wrong with that. And I think that we need to kind of reclaim the spheres in which we want privacy. Now, some people are going to say to me, like, this train has left the station, privacy is dead. I say no. I say it's absolutely something to fight, to not give up on it, because it's built on this idea that we have to give up our privacy is built on this like ridiculously shaky foundation that companies, a lot of them just want the data because they can monetize it. But I mean, I think people are a little bit more sensitive and a little bit more on top of this when it comes to their government. I hear more people say, like, well, I don't want my government to have all that information about me because they can see. I mean, you look around the world, government abuses are everywhere. But I'd say the same thing it applies to corporations. Like, if I go and tell somebody something, that's my choice, and I've chosen to share it with them. What I'm not implicitly authorizing them to do is go sell that information to 20 people. And so the data, the personal information that has become this massive commodity that just gets sold and repackaged all the time, so we can be constantly manipulated into buying things, into expressing certain opinions, into voting a certain way. We're constantly manipulated. And I think there are ways to just chip away at that. And it's not going to be perfect, but there are ways to chip away at it. So one I want to offer today, because I will make more videos about this, is there's an organization I follow a lot. They seem to be really cool. They're a not-for-profit called the Electronic Frontier Foundation, and they have an app called Privacy Badger. Go check it out. I mean, it's not perfect, but they're pretty cool people. It seems to be really awesome. Full stop. They don't offer it for Safari yet, but it's coming apparently. And installing these kinds of things, messing with the systems a little bit, messing with these algorithms, asking for our data to be deleted. We can do these things. And I think that it's important to take back some of our own privacy. And what this video is really about is to acknowledge that privacy is a good thing and it's okay to have something to hide. If you have any questions, comments, let me know. Otherwise, I hope everyone is doing wonderful.